What's going on, everybody? I'm Matt.
And I'm Vanessa.
And I hope you have your web shooters on because today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And the film stars Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Robert Downey Jr., and Marissa Tomei. And it begins shortly after the events of Civil War, where Peter Parker is anxious to become the newest Avenger. He's only 15 years old and finds himself struggling to juggle school and home life, all while trying to make an impression on Tony Stark. The Vulture emerges as a new enemy in town selling weapons built using alien technology, and this could be Spider-Man's one chance to prove himself. And finally, I think we have a franchise that might be here to stay.
Yes.
We hope.
I mean, this is the sixth installment in 15 years.
In 15 years. And Sam Raimi, to his credit, he gave us two great Spider-Man films, and then the studio interfered, and the third one fell short. Way short.
Way short.
And then Sony tried their hand at it, and I'm sure most of us will never want to speak of that
Not me,
ever again.
But most people.
Most people. Guilty pleasure movies. And I'm going to leave it at that. But now here we are. And I will say right off the bat, Tom Holland, he's a pretty darn good Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Yes, he is.
He really is. He brings the young aspect to the film that I feel like Andrew Garfield and even Tobey Maguire really lacked. It really feels like a 15-year-old kid with superheroes.
Yeah.
And that's really what the movie should feel like. So really, that gives you kind of like a young adult version of Spider-Man. This is a 15-year-old kid. You really think he's going to be very adult?
Yeah.
Right.
I still really like Tobey Maguire, but Tom Holland, he is funny, he is charismatic, and he's very likable.
Very likable.
So he does have that going for him.
And go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to move on ahead. I was going to say I love the fact that this is not an origin story.
No, that's actually what I was going to say. I really like that they kind of skipped the spider bite.
Oh my goodness.
How many times do we really need to see a spider
Seriously,
bite?
we've seen it twice already, and we get it. We know. With great power comes great responsibility. Bitten by a radioactive spider. We got that. And luckily, the writers of this film understood that. And yeah, we don't need that. We don't need all that backstory anymore. We know what happens to Uncle Ben. We've cried enough.
Yeah, we've cried enough.
All right, we're done. We're past that now. We're past that. So I do like that. And instead, this is kind of more of a maturing, coming of age Spider-Man. He's trying to prove himself. He wants to show that he belongs in the big leagues. Hey, I can be an Avenger too.
Right.
And I like that.
He wants to be taken seriously,
Yeah.
and everyone treats him like
he's a kid.
Just a kid.
Which
he is. And he brings that kind of 15-year-old immaturity to the film with the, hey, I can be taken seriously.
It's kind of, the movie never comes out and says it or really shows it, but it's kind of like a rebellious Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I might be a kid, but look what I can do. Mm-hmm. I can do all these things. Like, stop treating me like I'm just a kid. But you are just a kid. You're only 15. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like for the most part, the story works.
Yes.
For the most part. Look, the special effects are great. The action scenes are good. I'm not going to go ahead and say they're great. There's nothing really over the top that's going to wow you and you're going to be thinking about days later.
Well, the problem with it is this is coming right after Civil War and Avengers ×2.
Okay, but I would honestly say though, once again, going all the way back, the very first two Spider-Man films had better action scenes than this movie does.
What would they do in this movie that would differ so much?
I don't understand.
What would this movie need to do to have better action scenes?
Well, I'm just saying the scene that you see in the trailers, the fairy scene, that is the best action scene. So with that in mind, no, I do feel like, heck, the last fight scenes in both of the first two Spider-Man movies are better than anything we get in this film.
That's true.
I will say that. There are some cool new things though. His suit.
Yes.
A lot of capabilities. A lot of awesome stuff he can do with his suit.
Tony
I
Stark.
love that. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Iron Man. Really stepping in there. But the film, unfortunately, does have some flaws.
It does.
It does. One of the bigger flaws, in my mind, is there's no real sense of danger in this film.
Yeah, he kind of can take a beating.
Yeah, he can take a major beating. He's pretty much invincible, impervious to pain. I don't know, take your pick. And to me, that is a problem because once again, I swear, I'm not trying to compare this to the other Spider-Man films. I'm just saying
It's hard
we've
not
seen
to.
it before in the Raimi films. Spider-Man, he is vulnerable. He can be hurt.
Right.
In this movie, none of that there.
Not
really.
really.
No.
It's almost like he's invincible.
Yeah, and I'm not
Invincible
Spider-Man. There we go. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are times in the film where I was like, you probably shouldn't be getting up from that. And he does, and it's like, okay, not a scratch, not a mark on me. I'm good to go.
Right.
I'm ready to go.
I get that. The other problem kind of that I had was it's hard to kind of believe that nobody has figured out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man just based on this film alone. It's like, wow, that's kind of...
You really have to suspend your disbelief in a couple of scenes. We were kind of like, I don't know if that works as well as they meant for it to work, but...
I mean, this is a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I think that...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just makes you wonder.
Yeah, and the last thing, at least for me, is, look, I love Michael Keaton. I really do. I'm big Michael Keaton fan. And he's great here.
He really is.
He really is. He's like low key. Like he's not going around yelling or like doing like dramatic speeches or really causing a scene, but you know that he's dangerous. He shows you in the film what he's capable of doing. But the problem is I'm not really buying into the whole vulture aspect.
It's the character. It's not the acting. It's the character.
It is, because a lot of people are talking about how this is a relatable villain. I'm not seeing it. I don't get it. And I know that, in the beginning of the film you see him, he loses a project that he's working on where he's cleaning up New York City. It's right after the Avengers, obviously a bunch of destruction, alien parts and machinery lying about. And he's tasked with coming in and cleaning all that up. And then Stark's people show up and are like, oh, no, we're taking over this job. Okay. And he's like, but I've got a lot riding on this job. Like, I could lose my job. I could lose my house, all this kind of stuff. And then that's it. And then it cuts 8 years later and he's selling these weapons. My problem is we don't really see him lose anything.
No.
There's no sense of suffering. There's no sense of getting a feel for his plight or really starting to care about his point of view, why he became a villain.
And
I don't get it.
And I could possibly stand behind it if they did this. I will do anything for my family, which they tried to throw at you in the middle towards the end. But they never gave you any of that suffering or desperation in the beginning to make you feel compassion for him.
And I get it on a surface level, but we've seen the whole big guy coming in, stepping on the little guy. We've seen that.
We've seen it.
You got to give us a little bit more. At least for me. Because that whole surface level, well, I could lose all this stuff, but did you? Don't know. Didn't see anything really happen to you, so...
No idea.
Okay. But, that's just me. And I still love Michael Keaton, and he's still an awesome villain. Probably third best villain besides, Green Goblin and Doc Ock.
I love Green Goblin.
It's Michael Keaton. It's awesome. But anyways... Still a really good film. I'm giving it a B.
I have B.
There we go.
I enjoyed the film. I do think people should go out and just see this movie.
It
is a lot of fun. It's funny. It's like it's a young adult version of Spider-Man, so you can kind of get that idea from it, and I like that.
Yeah, and it's a solid film.
It really is.
It could have been better, but it's still worth watching. And I hope it's the beginning of a really good franchise. And for that, it does work. And of course, if you have seen it, let us know what you thought about it down below.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. And of course, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more of our friendly neighborhood reviews, hit the subscribe button. Just do it. Yeah, we're webtastic. We're webtacular. I like that. Anyways, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you guys next time.